Hey, good morning everybody. I've got to place the handle on my ditch axe, and I thought I'd take you along with how I'm going to treat the handle. I'm doing some trail maintenance, helping do some trail maintenance this past spring, and it cracked. Normally I can keep one of these handles. They normally last me about 4 or 5 years, as long as I don't abuse it. And but every now and then somebody will pick it up and they don't know that there's a difference in the different blades on it. You know, it's kind of like a double bit axe. You know, you got one side which is for cutting, and you got the other side which is for chopping. And neither one of the sides is for actually chopping down trees. It's for saplings and weeds and limbs. But every now and then somebody will pick it up, and like I say, they'll try to chop down a tree with it. But anyway, I'm gonna take you on along, and while I'm doing this handle, I'm gonna go ahead and treat the handle on my axe. So, New Werling's Ray Mears bush axe, and well, it's a boy's axe. Kind of disappointed with this axe. Reason being, because I figured that you pay this much for the axe, you know, they would kind of pay attention to the grain of the wood on the handle. But as you can see, the grain is cross grained on it. But I figure, hey, if I have to, you know, send it back, you know, I'll liable to get one just as bad, if not worse. So I figure I'll go ahead and handle this one. And I don't really abuse most of my tools, so it's not really that big of a deal. I don't really foresee the me breaking the handle, but if I do, hey, I'll get some experience rehafting an axe. I mean, I've got 2 other axes, and believe it or not, I have never had to haft an axe. And of course, I don't use an axe that much neither. I've never found no reason to. That's the reason why I went ahead and bought this small one. And you can see it's got right at 21 3/4. It was supposed to be 22-inch handle, but anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and sand these down a little bit and put some linseed oil on them. I don't know if they put any kind of coating on these when they come from the factory or not, but I'm gonna go ahead and sand it down some. I'm not gonna sand this too much, because it's already pretty smooth, but I do want it to be able to take this linseed oil. Just gonna give it a quick wipe down with the sandpaper. Notice I'm not gonna do it real thick or real heavy sanding on it, because it is smooth, but I do want it to take in the linseed oil. Now, they didn't do a very good job on putting the wedge in here neither. I noticed the wedge is a little bit off on it, but I say we'll find out. Anyway, that's pretty good. As I say, I'm not going to overly sand this. Wipe it down with a damp cloth. Like I say, it's just barely damp. We got overcast skies this morning. Maybe we'll get lucky and get some rain this afternoon. It's not supposed to rain till this afternoon. But anyway, now this handle here for the ditch axe. Some people call them bush axes. I've always called them bush axes, but it's actually mostly defined as a ditch axe. But I'm gonna give it a real good sanding. Now, I won't be sanding up around the head here. I'm going to leave the head raw like it is, because I know these don't come with no kind of treatment on them. This handle is a Council Tools handle, but the axe head itself is an Ames. But I have found that if you buy Council Tools axe head replacements, they usually last longer. And you'll notice this has got a good grain on it. The grain is actually running straight on this one. So I do, anytime I replace one, I do try to make sure that the grain is running straight and true. I can tell that this was green when they processed it. They probably let it process or dry a little bit, but I think they processed it more when it was green than it was anything. This is just light sandpaper. You probably see dust coming off of it, but it's not that much dust coming off of it. Just real light sanding is all you have to do, because they're always sanding it pretty good. Let's say if there's any kind of finish on it, I just want to kind of take that finish off, so in that way the linseed oil will process or absorb into it a little bit better. Yeah, it's got a good straight head. Okay, wipe it down, get the dust off of it. I say this is just a tacky cloth, just to get the dust off of it, and won't take but a little bit, probably about 5-10 minutes, and it'll dry. Usually these heads, I don't have to do any kind of maintenance to them, or any kind of trimming or anything like that before I put them on. They usually go straight in. But anyway, okay, I'm gonna let these dry, and then I'll bring you back and show you how much they absorb. Okay, be back in a minute. Okay, so the handles have had time enough to dry, and what I usually do is I usually wear rubber gloves whenever I'm doing this linseed oil, and just let y'all know that, yeah, right after I turned you off, I noticed this handle didn't have no hanging hole in it, so I went ahead and drilled a hole in it, sanded it down a little bit more, and let's see, I'll probably have to get a pair of pliers to open this linseed oil. I'll be right back. Now, if you're not familiar with using linseed oil and this process of treating handles, what I normally do is I'll pretty much soak my rag, and I'll just rub it on and get a good soaking on it. And normally I'll put anywhere between 4 and 5 coats of linseed oil on, and in between each coat I will sand it, lightly sand in between each coat. And I am going to take this all the way up, and once I get up here to the front, you will see me actually let some drip into the split right here, the mounting split, so that way I can get some down inside the screw holes. And let me see, I'll show you what I normally do with these, because I'll only do this once. I'll only run some through here once on the split, because I want a good coat up in here, because you really want this part right here to be strong. to get soak as much of it is in as you can. Because what linseed oil does is it helps seal the wood, and it helps protect it from any water moisture getting in. And you should probably do this about every, I'm gonna say, if you have your tools outside or it's real humid, you probably should do it at least once a year, maybe every 6 months, according to how much. And you notice that the handle's getting some black parts on it. I don't worry about that. I'm not too much worried about looks and appearances. Okay, so I got a good coat on this handle right here, and there was a reason why I did this one first, and the main reason was because I wanted the rag real saturated with oil before I did this Wehrling's, this axe. I'll probably get some on the metal, but it ain't gonna hurt none. Some people actually use this linseed oil to do the metal, to seal the metal. Oops, I gotta shake that off good. We'll put a little bit more oil. I say I'm gonna coat it real good. I'll try to get some of this black off. This is just where the gloves are they could be melting. I use these gloves for a little bit of everything. Like I say, I ain't worried about it. A little bit of the residue gets in there. Now you want to make sure that the end of your handles are treated real good too. Let it soak up a whole lot. As much as it'll soak up. Like I say, this is a sealer, and so okay. Anyway, I'll do this at least 3 times. I'm not going to bring you back each time to show you the process, but however, I will show you one more time. Okay. Now if I can get these gloves off, I'll cut the camera off. Well, my hands done sweated inside the gloves and won't stick. Okay, I'll bring you back in a little bit. Okay, I just did the second coat of oil on the handles, and I'm gonna wait for it to dry. But in the meantime, I figured since I'm doing this, I might as well go ahead and do the sheath also. Show you what I do with leather sheaths and scabbards, mask, whatever you want to call them. And I say there's all kinds of ways to do this stuff, but this is just the way I do it. And what I normally do with any of my leather stuff, and even if it's wet formed, I still take it and I use good old fashioned saddle soap. And the reason why you want to use this is because when you got leather scabbards or leather sheaths and stuff and they get wet, if you don't have some kind of treatment on them and you dry them, they normally will dry stiff, and if you don't put some kind of treatment on them, they will get brittle and actually start cracking, and they'll break. Not just crack, they'll actually break. So anyway, yeah, I'll soak the leather real good. Back here. And I'll take regular shoe dauber Get my shoe dauber good and soaked. And I will just rub it in. Rub it, rub it, rub it, rub it. Get as much of this down inside there as you can. You know, if your rivets here start rusting, just take a little bit of oil and dab a little bit of oil on them. I mean, unless you're really trying to keep your stuff real pretty or something, you know, hey, it's better for it to last for 50 years or 100 years than it is for it to be pretty for 50 years, I reckon. I mean, if you're never going to use it. Anyway, get this saddle soaked down in there real good. And I hope I got you in frame. Let me make sure I got you in frame. I'll pull you up just a little bit. It doesn't take much to get this stuff soaked in there. You're just putting the coat in, and it's gonna go in. I can see right now the dye on the leather's already coming off. But get the strap real good so the strap stays flexible. Where it doesn't take much to treat this. But if you do this, you know, every so often, this leather will last you forever. I've got a pair of boots in there that I wore all over the world and stuff. Permanent survivors, and I've had those boots since 1982, and those boots are still just as good today as what they was the day I bought them. And let me tell you, they were all over Hohenfeld, Grafenbeer. Of course, I didn't wear them in wild flicking, but I did in Hohenfeld and Grafenbeer, Germany, Colorado. Okay, so once you get done with that, what you're going to do is just rinse it off. You don't have to leave this stuff on very long. I'm going to put one more coat on this. Okay, what I'll do this time is I'm going to let it soak in probably for about a half an hour. Then I'll rinse it back off and I'll let it dry. See, the leather's nice and soft now. And it'll stay protected too. Even whenever it gets wet, it'll still dry soft. It won't start drying out and cracking. Okay, let me rinse my hands off. Rinse the brush off. And that's all I do. What I've been doing for years. And if anybody tries to tell me that this is the wrong way and this is good for the leather, they can't convince me of it. Just trust me, I've been doing this for years. Combat boots, this is what I was taught to do in basic training back in 1975, and this is what I've always done. And I have shined my fair share of boots and treated my fair share of boots, including what we're not supposed to call field boots. Okay, I'll bring you back whenever it's time to do my last coat of linseed oil on the handles.